You are never alone. You are never alone. Just reach into your heart and Allah is always there. You are never alone. You are never alone. Through sorrow and through grief, through happiness and peace, you are never alone.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A new series or a new episode of Family Issues. I remember when I was young, I was very keen and very ambitious to correspond with other friends overseas. And I remember when I was in my teenage, I was trying to correspond with different nationalities. I sent letters, and there was at that times companies. This was in the 90s. No, sorry, it was in the 80s. There were companies that are responsible for corresponding people together. If you want to find a friend, if you want to write a letter to someone, there was no net, there was no these technologies of computer, the Twitters, the Facebook, and these things. And I used to be very, very happy when I noticed that someone sent me a letter from, for example, Sweden or from England or from whatever. It was a very interesting feeling because, you know, you are linking yourself or connecting yourself with someone. This person or this friend is usually unknown. You don't know his face, his habits, everything about him seems to be unknown. So you are trying to know more and more about him. You write in your letter, you put some pictures, you tell him about yourself, about your way of life, about the style of your family, and so on. And day by day, week by week, this friendship grows. Therefore, it is said that good friends are hard to find, but harder to leave, and impossible to forget. This is true, because all the time we are trying to find a friend of us who smiles with us, who participates with us, our activities, our feelings, and shares with us so of the many good things. Today, we are speaking in this episode about friendship. Friendship is a very special type of relation between human beings. So you have to focus on this one who is going to be carrying this responsibility, this big responsibility. Why big responsibility? Because he has to be trustworthy. Because you are going to tell him your secrets. You are going to link with him. You are going to mix with him. You are going maybe to tell him about your friends, about your sons, about your father, about your mother, about your maybe very specific parts of your life. So he needs, of course, to be trustworthy. And therefore, it's not that much to find a friend. It's hard, really. But when you find him, you have to grab him and you have to be sticking to him because he is a brother of you. He's more than a brother sometimes. And it's harder to leave him because usually what happens is that there is some sort of a trait. When you leave a friend, most probably, if this friend was not at the position of trust, or he is not trustworthy, in other words, he let you disappointed, he let you, this makes you, of course, sad, and you find that life is miserable, and you cannot trust anyone. So, it's impossible to forget a friend whom you lose by death or by whatever, because he was very trusty, and you told him so many of your special feelings, and therefore every one of us not like but love friends in all our age stages, when we were children, when we are in the teenagers, adolescence, and even when we are adults, mature, and even also in the senility stage. Therefore, you have to prepare yourself when you choose a friend. You have to be very careful. So many important precautions has to be taken when you try to focus on the criteria of a friend. You have to put your criteria. But there are so many of the common criteria that should be found in a friend. By the way, let me first tell you the telephone numbers on the screen. You are going to find them of the program. It's 002-02-38-555-248 and 249. This is the telephone number, and we want you to communicate with us and interact as usual by your questions, by your comments. This is very important because this program is mainly made for you to share about your feelings in the family issues. And maybe you are going to ask me, what's the relation between friendship and family issues? No, of course. Families do not just grow by the relations between the members of the family themselves, a brother and a sister, or a child and his father. In spite of our insisting in this episode and in the next segments about how to be a friend of one of the members of the family, in other words, a father, how he should plan to be a friend of his son in so many stages, how a wife should be a friend of her husband, or otherwise some husbands look and seek for other friends in spite of being married. And the same thing applies, unfortunately, to the wives or to the partners. So the point is how to play this role, how to understand what is meant by friendship, this very sensitive and special type of relations between human beings, this very nice type of relationship. You are not compelled, maybe you are compelled to have a father, you are compelled to have a son, but you are not compelled to have a friend. So you choose him by yourself. This is what we are going to discuss in the next segment of this program. Let's first have a break.
You are never alone. You are never alone.
Do you have questions that bother you? What about issues of concern to you? Would you like to share things on your mind with us? Are you interested in solutions based on an Islamic perspective? Please join me live in Meet Your Advisor every Friday at 9 p.m. Mecca time, here on Huda TV.
Allah is beautiful and He loves beauty. So is it logical to say all plastic surgeries are lawful in Islam to bring or to regain beauty? It is very misleading questions. Need a very accurate and firm answers. Let us set up the rules and principles to cover all plastic surgeries in Islamic law. How Islam does legalize niqab or veil factor in our modern life? Is it fair to suggest that it is more cultural than it is Islamic? I would rather to answer these questions by just suggesting very shocking fact about niqab. Are you ready for that? How Islam does legalize polygamy when Islam always says that respect natural instinct and natural feelings, and knowing that not a single woman does accept anyone to share her in her kingdom. All what you have said is true. But is there any difference between your natural instinct and your natural desires, or maybe between your interest or what you wish to have, or maybe your interest and other interest? Is it true that anything came after the Prophet ﷺ regarding this deen to be considered as a bid'ah, innovation? It's neither this nor that. It seems very well complicated and confusing to many Muslims, especially when it comes to the saying of the Prophet ﷺ, وَكُلَّ مُحْدَثَةٍ بِدْعَةٍ, and Sayyidina Umar saying, نِعْمَةُ الْبِدْعَةُ هَذِهِ. Let us set up the very comprehensive definition of bid'ah according to Islamic law.
Learn Arabic. As everyone knows, today Arabic is considered as very important, very significant language. How can we produce the sound, the state of voicing, place of articulation, and manner of articulation? So in Arabic, the words which are written are pronounced.
We will learn how to write and pronounce Arabic letters correctly in depth. Explanation, via board and presentation, with many other important factors.
We have today more than 300 million people speak Arabic language. Not only in the Middle East, but you can find a lot of people speak Arabic language in Asia, Europe, North America, and in South America.
What are you waiting for? Grab your notebook and pencil and stay tuned for Learn Arabic at Huda TV.
You are never alone. You are never alone.
Remind you, in this episode we are speaking about friendship. And as we have said in the beginning of the episode, that it's very hard to find someone in this vast world to be a trusty person who you can share with him your times and tell him your secrets. Therefore, we have to be very careful when we choose our friends. Also, we have to add something. I want just to tell you the telephone numbers again, remind you, because I want you to share with us all the time. It's 00202 38 555 248 and 249. As I've said, new types nowadays of friendship have been created. In the first or the introduction of the program, I said I was corresponding by letters. Nowadays, letters and posting is not that much, because the internet and the Facebook and these companies like Twitters and bloggers and things like this are getting more and more, and it's more easy than sending a letter and waiting for the answer for after a few weeks or after the next day. So this, as this made so many benefits for us, in the same time it put us in some problems, as nowadays we hear that there are so many thefts, so many deceiving happens by these means, by the internet and by all these ways of communication. Okay, let us first see this report and then come back to see what about this type of friendship that we can say.
Never alone. You are never alone.
Since the dawn of humanity, friendship is the most valuable human relation. All cultures express this fact in their cultural heritage. Some of the famous proverbs in this aspect are: a cheerful friend is like a sunny day, spreading brightness all around. It is better to be in chains with a friend than to be in a garden with strangers. Books and friends should be few, but good. Value that is found in friendship is often the result of a friend demonstrating the following on a consistent basis: the tendency to desire what is best for the other, sympathy and empathy, honesty, mutual understanding and compassion, trust in one another, and positive reciprocity. In the course of time, people develop many means to establish and maintain this indispensable relation, such as letters, exchanging gifts, gathering, meeting in person in certain places. In the age of technology and internet, people can keep in touch with their friends via messenger programs and social networks. Alexa.com is a website specialized in tracking web navigation traffic. Apart from the well-known search engines, Alexa statistics show that Facebook is the most visited website, not only in the Muslim world, but all over the world. The percentage of those who visit Facebook daily, according to Alexa.com, exceeds 330,000 a day in the whole world. The number of those countries which view Facebook most are included in the site, on top of which are Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore. Alexa states also that the audience of Facebook among people browsing from work is similar to the general internet population, while people browsing from school relative to general internet population are overrepresented at Facebook.com. Alexa statistics also shows that the majority of Facebook users are educated and under 44. However, this virtual means, like any other form of maintaining relationships, has its advantages that we need to utilize and disadvantages that we need to avoid.
You are never alone. You are never alone.
Honesty, sympathy, empathy, mutual understanding, and so of the many good values, many positive values are present in such a relation. If this relation was a healthy one, if this was a true type of friendship, true, healthy friendship, it should include this. And when this happens, when you feel that you is having a mutual good relation with the other partner, I mean the friend, spontaneously you are going to tell him your secrets, you are going, not all of your secrets, some of them, and you are going to mix with him easily, and therefore so many, as I say, of the characteristics should be found in someone who is going to be my friend. He should respect me. He should respect my ideas. He should share with me. You should find someone who cares about you, not to the degree of the care of a wife or a husband at home, but I know friends who are very, very careful, and maybe they can take the money out of their pockets and give them to their friends. This is a true friend, a friend whom you find him in times of problems, in times of sickness. This is the true friend, not the one you find him in the parties, you find him in the celebrations. No, this is not the one we are seeking, or meaning that he's a true friend. The point is that the shock that happens when you choose someone and you give him all what you want, all your love, all your care, all your secrets, and all of a sudden you discover that he is not a friend, he is another person, he's a devil. And therefore I remember that Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anh said that he was praying to God saying, God, please protect me from my friends, but my enemies, I can't deal with them. This is true, because you are not telling your secrets to your enemies, you are not telling your secrets, all your secrets and specific points to everyone in the work, your colleagues. You just tell this to someone who is very intimate, who is very near to you. You feel him near by your heart, near by you every time. And I think we are having a telephone with us. Amina from Qatar. Assalamu alaikum, Amina. Assalamu alaikum, Amina. Amina, can you hear me?
As well as like I have something to say.
Yeah, please go on, Amina, please.
Yes. Yes?
Go on, Amina, please.
In today's world, we don't have friends whom we can really trust.
Yeah.
And like it is very well known that you should have one best friend.
Yes,
not
yes.
a lot of best friends.
Yes, yes.
And this one best friend should be there like lifelong. I really have one best friend, and like I share only with her, like if I really feel comfortable sharing with her. But there are a lot of people who come in my life, like I'm a kind of person who likes making friends and all, but I didn't take them really close. But I've always seen them like they are not trustworthy. What
Really?
can be done for that in this world? Like, how can we really trust someone? This is my question. Like, I really don't understand. I'm a kind of person who ends up trusting everybody. Like, I make friends very quickly. And
Yeah.
I sometimes feel very disappointed when they don't show this kind of loyalty back to me.
But
And
Amina,
I really don't understand. Like, in this world, it's very difficult to like trust anybody. Like,
yeah.
this is my opinion. Like,
Well, Amina,
I really feel this.
before you close, Amina, I want to ask you a question. You are married or you are single?
I'm married.
Married. But didn't you plan to find the true friend or the real friend in your husband?
Yes, Alhamdulillah. Like,
Alhamdulillah.
I have a best friend like who is there from my childhood, whom I do share my things with. But Alhamdulillah, like my husband has been very understanding, and he really understands me quite well. But I really feel like even my husband has this problem. Like he always says that friends are like in this world, like you cannot trust anybody.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
he says that the only person he feels the only person he can trust is me, and I feel that only person I really can trust more than my best friend is like my husband. But this is not like we actually are social people, right? We are social animals. We really need people in our life. So
Yes.
how can we trust anybody? Like, what is it that can help us trust people? Please advise on this.
Thank you very much, Amina, for the question and for the comment, which was very touching to our feelings, because you seem to speak from the street. You are speaking from the true life of people. This is the true, what Amina says. You find yourself in this world alone, in spite of having so many people, so many people who call themselves friends. This is what they say sometimes. They call it alienation. Alienation means that you feel about are less and this and this. But the point is, because I heard one phrase in what Amina have said, which means that sometimes Amina is impulsive. I mean, rapidly, she is very kind. She is very, she thinks that she acts like an angel on the ground. And everyone, she finds him, quickly she says hello, and she feels that she's going to be a friend of him. This, I call it some sort of impulsivity. I don't mean a symptom of a disease. I'm just saying this is a behavior of so many of the kind and not naive people. But nowadays you have to be really very careful when you meet someone, because some people are impulsive and they give all what they know and all the secrets, or not all the secrets, but when they sit with someone and he smiles with them and he speaks in a good way, and at the end of the first meeting, the person feels some sort of rest, or he feels that he is in good relation with this person, and he may consider him as a friend. And unfortunately, in the second meeting, or the third one, or at most in the fifth one, he's going to find that he was deceived. It's a fact, as you said, Amina, that life and the world nowadays are not that like before, because people changed. But to be optimistic, not all people are bad. And when I asked Amina about the friendship with the husband, I meant that why don't we put in our minds, when we choose our spouses, our partners, that whether they are our husbands or our wives, that they should be one of the items of the job description. Sorry for calling it a job description, wifery or husband, being a husband. He should be a good friend. Try to imagine this person you are going to propose to, or the one who is going to propose for you. Can you imagine yourself with him in a case or in a condition where you are speaking friendly? This doesn't mean just the stage of proposal or engagement. You have to think, can you live with this person for long years, and or life is going to be boring and you are going to be fed up, and this doesn't happen with friends usually. So it's very important to choose someone who is trustworthy. Of course, it's more dangerous to choose a wife or a husband who is not trustworthy, because it's going to end in a crisis. And the second point, by the way, when we are speaking about family relations and family issues and friendship between family members, we have to think about, because I met so many parents who are friends, or who found at last the friends in their children. I know a wife who found that her son is the only friend in the world that she can trust, because he's very innocent. We have another telephone call. Zahra from Egypt. Salamu alaikum, Zahra. How are you, Zahra?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. I'm very fine. How are you, Dr. Ihab?
I'm fine, thank you.
To have this nice phone
Thank you, Zahra. Thank you. What's your opinion, Zahra, about the topic today, friendship and virtual friendship, and what Amina was speaking about just a moment before?
Yes, she's right. She's completely right. I'm really approve her opinion, because I have a personal experiment about friendship. You know, last events in our country, the last the January Revolution, I already had asked and make a very too much phone calls for my friends, maybe from the schools.
Yeah.
But I'm living in Mbaba. But how is my health? How is my psychiatrician? You know, I didn't get any phone calls. Nobody asked about me or my family.
This
or what
is-
happened
this
to
is
us.
depressing.
Are we completely safe or nothing?
This is depressing.
Yes. So yes,
Thank you.
I didn't feel that
Well-
I have any friendship.
Thank you, Zahra. And I'm sharing with you the feelings. But let me first answer also another telephone from Nigeria. This is Tabsir. Tabsir, salamu alaikum, Tabsir.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you, Tabsir?
Alhamdulillah.
What's your opinion
I
about-
want to thank you for
You're more than welcome.
for a wonderful program.
You are more than welcome, and this is your program, of course. This is Family Issues.
Yeah.
Do you have...
And I have a question for you, Sheikh.
You are more than welcome. What's your opinion,
Yeah,
Tabsir,
my
about
question
friendship? Yes?
Hello, you're talking about trust.
Yes, I'm talking about friendship.
Yes, friendship and trust. How can you really trust a husband who has actually divorced you once? Maybe you were once good friends and you believed in the person, you really trusted him, but all of a sudden, such a thing occurred between you and him. How can you go back to trust such a person? How can you really trust that person? Because you don't know the next thing you do and the next thing that is going to happen. I don't know if you got my question.
I understand from Tafsir's question, you mean that you trusted someone and then he was not trusty and then you are trying to make the relation again?
No, as in you're married and your husband is supposed to be your best friend.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, and you trust him from the beginning, but when you have a little problem like that, he now divorces you once. How can you go back to trust such a person?
Yeah. Thank you, Tafsir. I want to thank either Tafsir and Zahra, the last two telephones, because all their comments were very important. Tafsir's point also about, she says that she tried to find a friend in her husband, and unfortunately, she didn't in the first or after some time an event happened and he let her, or she was disappointed because he wasn't filling or fitting the position of a friend. What she has to do in case of this problem? This is a very important problem. In addition to what Zahra also have said, she said that she tried to make a maneuver. She grabbed the telephone and she made telephone calls to so many of her old friends in school and old times, old days. But she was astonished because no one in turn tried to call her back just to ask about her health or to ask about her family. And even those who called maybe were so formal in their calls. All these telephone calls and all these comments assure the same meaning. Please, friends, and the world is changing. Friendship is nowadays scarcely getting less and less. So, but to answer a question of Tafsir, the last one. Tafsir, every one of us has his own gifts or his own talents. Maybe you are not getting from the right way to your husband. I know many of the females who have their own way of speaking with their husbands, kidding with him, trying to play with him, trying to joke with him, trying to cook something that he loves, and look at the TV, for example, to have some good time. But unfortunately, she finds him very routine, and he is also very reckless and very untidy. He throws things here and there. Of course, she's going to be disappointed. She wants him to be in the same condition, the same feeling. We are friends. But she finds him maybe acting in the way of a husband's influential position. Do that, do not do that. That's nice. Maybe he doesn't care about the way she made her hair or the way she was making herself beautiful for her husband. So at the end, so many wives, unfortunately, find themselves disappointed. But to my mind, if you tell him, why not we be friends? We try to share times together. We try to share the common things. I myself sometimes find my wife trying to hear me while I was reading, for example, something that I like, but I know it's not that very interesting for her. But I think that when someone loves the other, he likes what he loves. I feel sometimes that I'm interested to know what my wife is interested in, for example, in chemistry. She's a chemist. So what are the most recent things about drugs, about laboratories, and about things? This makes her feel that we are friends. You have to share the common things. And maybe you heard in the report about exchanging gifts together. I want males to feel what females feel. They like gifts. They like exchanging, not so expensive gifts, but they want maybe low priced, but things that they want. Because the idea itself, when I know that my husband remembers things I like, or he is observing what I like and what I don't like, what makes Tabsir maybe, and I don't know, as regards Zahra and other females, disappointed, is that they tried once, twice, and thrice to remind their husbands that we like this and we don't like that, but unfortunately they found their husbands absent-minded. Anyway, I can't give a direct answer for these questions, but what I want you at least to think about is to try to be friends to your children. Children all the time want friends, and maybe in the teen age they get out of home when they are adolescents to find friends from their age groups. This is usual. Don't be disappointed from this. But those who raise their children since they were in the early childhood to be friends of them, kidding all the time with them, playing with them, this is a good share to the future. It's an investment to be a friend of the teenager in the future. Let's have a break and then continue our talk.
You are never alone. You are never alone.
Why righteous companions? It is Islam that given us the sense of dignity. I love all of them in a way that you cannot imagine. That Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu would say something and the Quran would come down matching what he said. والسابقون الأولون من المهاجرين والأنصار والذين اتبعوهم بإحسان رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه. Just compare what you did for Islam with just one of them.
Dear viewers, Hoda programs can be watched in the English section of the in-flight entertainment directory on board all Saudi airline flights, domestic and international. Sit back, relax and enjoy watching Hoda's entertaining and enlightening shows on your trip. Hoda wishes you a safe and successful journey. Hoda, a light in every home.
Series of programs where we look into this important topic of zakah, how to understand it, how to implement it, some of the rulings that are upon all of us, especially those who have to pay the zakah.
You must understand how much in your wealth is entitled for zakah. In America, how much tax you pay. If you're a doctor, for instance, and you make like $300,000-$400,000, stop looking at how much you're paying. Zakah on the wealth of an orphan is a subject by itself.
To the world that Islam has a solution for you.
إِمَّا إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ وَإِمَّا إِلَى النَّارِ, that indicates he's still Muslim. But he's at risk. He may go to hell, he may go to heaven, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will open the door of poverty and need for this person.
alone. You are never alone.
They say that if it was hurting to look ahead and find no friend, and you are scared to look back to find no friend, then look beside you, and the best friend is going to be in this place. You know what does this mean? It means that your friend that you might not be discovering is someone around you, some person, very nearby you, but you are not having attention to him. This is my message to Amina, to Tabsir, and to Zahra, and to everyone in this world who is searching for a friend. Usually they say that by age, the chances of having a friend is getting less and less. This is true, because to have a friend, it needs time, duration. So those who we know from the old times, and they keep growing with us, and day by day, if days prove to you that he is loyal, as Amina have said, and he is not making traits or making deceiving or false things with you, this means that most probably he is the one you are looking for. But the problem is that sometimes you find yourself at the end friendless, without friends. It's your destiny. I think it's not the end of life. And sometimes you, as Tabsir have said, she says that she looked at her husband to find the friend she wants, but unfortunately she didn't find. So what's going to be the solution in this case? I think God is our friend. And in order to protect our children from having bad experiences, we have to train them to be good friends. We have to help them to choose friends, but not to choose for them. This is very important in the teenage, because today in the morning I met a young man about 18 years old. He said, my mother wants to go with me everywhere and sit with me and my friends to know who is that and who is this. What are you saying? Do you smoke? Do you have drugs? Do you have what? As if I'm a criminal and she is the policeman or Columbo who is just asking me questions and following me in what I'm doing. Of course, this is not a good quality relation between a mother and her son. To have a good quality of relation between a mother and her son, she has to look and she has to expect that if she is going, for example, to put her son in the certain university or in that school, look at the community in this school or that university or faculty. What do you expect? He's going to find friends from another place? This is the place you have chosen. And I asked one mother once if this means, she says, she's complaining all the time from her son. He is wearing so miserable things. He is speaking in a very bad way. He is not a good boy. Okay, I said, well, when you put this child or this young man between his colleagues, between his friends, between the guys he is going with them in the school or in the university, does he seem to be odd? She said, no. All of them are like this. All of them should be thrown in hell. This is the point. This is the community he is living in. And as maybe one of the proverbs says, when you are in Rome, act as the Romans, specifically when you are a child, because a mature man is going, of course, to differentiate between good things and bad things, and he can choose. But please, do not let your children feel that they are torn between the friends they are trying to build friendship with and between your orders and your values and your ways of life, which might be to them very old and not applying to their lives. There is another telephone call with us. Saima from Qatar. Assalamu alaikum, Saima.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you, brother?
Yeah, you are more than welcome, Saima. But tell us, what's your opinion in the issue today of this family issue?
I am actually Amina's sister.
Yeah, you're Amina's sister.
Amina.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
After like Amina's question, you had mentioned that you need to find, when you're looking for a spouse, you need to like look at whether you can find that person friendly or like you can live.
That's what I've said. Yes.
Yes. My question is one of my friends. She's divorced. She's very young. She's divorced and she has a kid. There was one guy who bought the proposal for her, and gradually, he did not inform his parents.
I think the telephone call, we lost that call until Saima contacts us again. I think she is asking about one of the most common problems that faces females nowadays, the idea of divorce. I want, of course, Saima to continue the question, but until she calls, sometimes the divorcees or the young girls or young women who are divorced after 1 or 2 years of marriage, they find themselves in a trouble. She has a responsibility, 1 boy or 2 kids, and in the same time, she's young, and she has her own feelings. She has her own desires, and she was married. You know, if you, for example, had a car, and you lost the car. I think Saima with us again. Saima, assalamu alaikum. Go on, Saima, please.
The thing is, there was a guy who bought the proposal for her, but the guy did not inform his parents about this. The girl gradually started talking, my son gradually started talking to him. And after some time, after being very confident that he really loves her and everything, he tried to make her mind up. And then he suddenly started telling her that, my parents are not going to agree to this. And, I cannot continue like this. And now she's very depressed.
And he didn't come back. He didn't come back,
He was truly a person, he was very friendly. And he showed that attitude that he would take care of her lifelong. But then when he knew it from the beginning that she is divorced and she has a kid, everything. But gradually he started avoiding her and telling her that my parents won't agree. But he tells her that I want you to be my best friend throughout my life.
Well, thank you.
What do in such a situation?
Thank you, Saima.
Thank you so much.
You are more than welcome. Saima, I think this is a very good question that helps so many of our sisters in this community. If you want my answer, of course, I think you are going to expect. I'm not interested or I'm not enthusiastic in continuing this relation. Because what does he mean by this friendship? She has a kid, and the girl wants to marry again. She is serious. And he started the relation by showing himself as if he's a serious one. And I'm deadly sure that this person was knowing from the very beginning that this is the opinion of his parents. And maybe he tried this once before or twice. And it's good time to spend with the girl and then another and another without the kid. To my mind, about this guy, if he is going again to propose formally with this girl and have the responsibility of the kid, well and good, he is more than welcome. And you say that she loves him or she feels that she is interested in the way he speaks, they are friends. In this case, they are friends. But to continue the relation, I don't think that this is going... I know she needs, in these very critical days after the divorce, the post-divorce days, in a girl like this, she needs someone to share with her. But some foxes use this very important need that so many of the divorced women feel, and he jumps on the stage and says, and appears to be like a Valentino or someone like this, and of course he affects the heart of that woman, and she fell with the feelings with him. This is a crime. So she has to cut it by knife, unfortunately, and try to learn from now on that she has to be very careful in mixing with people, Do not be impulsive. I repeat it in this episode for the second time. Please do not be impulsive in relations, specifically in relations with the other sex. Maybe in the Western world they are speaking about girlfriends and boyfriends. It's very interesting to have. Of course, all of us, all of the males need to mix with females. And all the females want to make relations. But God put rules for this. This is the difference. We are not impulsive. And we are at the same time, we are not extremists. We just want to put rules to organize the relations, to protect our girls and to protect our young men. Because this uncalculated mixing of people together, which produces at the end children who are not mixing with other friends, or children who are miserable, not finding parents, fathers, mothers, maybe living in orphanages. I think this is not what we aim at. This is not good, of course. So my answer to this is, do not continue this relation and look for someone who is serious and responsible, and he knows that there is a child and he's going to try to be a father of the child, not just a friend. Okay. Thank you, Saima, anyway. Actually, our children, some of the children fail in having the relation of friendship. They cannot make friends. This most probably is due to some problem in the child. Maybe this problem affects his intelligence, maybe it affects his behaviors, maybe he is not adapting well because the people themselves are not good. Okay? So, what I want to say, you try to plan as a parent. You are raising a child who is going to be in the future a good man, so you have to choose a good place to put him in. This means the school, the club, the mosque, and even those who are not Muslims, the churches. In everywhere, you have to look where you are going to put your child. Okay? This is very important. And try to train him. Try to play with him as if you are friends. You are my friend and I'm yours. Why don't we have lunch at the certain place? Why don't we drink hot chocolate at another place? Play with him and try to train him to be a friend of another child. It's a long issue, and those who are autistic, one of the criteria of autism, you remember we made an episode about autism before, they cannot make friends. They cannot mix with other children. They can mix with adults sometimes, but never with children most of the time. So please, if you didn't find a friend in your life, try to train your child to choose a good one and give him the criteria of a good friend, because it's a very important thing that helps you to build your self-concept and self-confidence. So, of course, we are not those who are not having friends maybe are sad, and their self-confidences are not that strong as those who are surrounded by friends. But at the end, as Amina said, everyone has a best friend. Not all the friends are best friends. One of them is the best. Hopefully, also that your spouse or your partner be a friend of yours. I think now we came to the end of the episode. I'm happy for your shares, and inshallah next episode we are going to have another important issue in family issues. So, thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
You are never alone. You are never alone. Through sorrow and through grief, through happiness and peace, you are never alone. So now, as you long for your past, prepare for your future, but knowing nothing's gonna last. You see, this life is but a road, a straight and narrow path to our final abode. So travel well, O Muslim, and paradise will be your home. And always remember that you are never alone.